Alright, we're back. We got a special episode today. Gonna call it Interviewing Our Investigators, which we're gonna take time to interview our brand new investigator, Leah. So you guys get to know him. He's gonna tell us a little bit about himself. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Leah, if you wanna go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right.
And all that.
Well, my name is Leo Smith, and I started, I met you last fall, and been on several investigations already, and been having a lot of fun out there. A bit of a background. I was speaking earlier. I think I did my first paranormal investigation. I think it was 1969, where I did a study on of the Wallowa Lake monster of Wallowa Lake in northeastern Oregon. It was a school project, and really even before then, I've always kind of had an interest in it. My mother was Scandinavian, and she always talked about the Norse gods and Valhalla, and she was clairvoyant, and she was telling us stories about some of the things she went through growing up, and even at a young age, in junior high, and we're talking probably 1968 or something like that. We had a club, and we had this basement of this old house we'd meet in with the Ouija boards and things like that. And so I've had an interest ever since I can remember. I get up to date. I'm a retired businessman. I've just retired a couple years ago after owning my own business for 30 years, and I've always had an interest in the paranormal, and just wanted to spend more time. And so fortunate enough to find you and get hold of you, talk to you, and I think it's been good. But a little bit of my background. Like I said, I was a businessman for a while, and went to actually I graduated from a little town called Imbler, northeastern Oregon, and did my college in Eastern Oregon State University. But spent some time in the service. I was, spent 4 years in the Army, then spent some time in the mills, and then got into my own business. So, but I think some of the things I think I get is different that I bring is not that I'm a skeptic, but I like to look at things differently. I think maybe being older, you just don't take things at their face value. Yeah. And like I said, a lot in our investigations, I like to have it documented 3 ways. If you have an EVP, that's nice. But if you have an EVP and fluctuating EMFs, that's nice too. Then if you have a personal experience on that, if you have one just by itself, a lot of times you can rule that out. I heard a bang. Well, we all know that a lot of these haunted places are falling apart. So it's a piece of plaster falling down. But if you hear a bang, you get an EVP, and you got EMF, you put all that together, I think we got something here. And so not that I'm skeptic, I like to take things, at their face value.
Right.
And hopefully I can bring a little bit to that. I do I stick with the old methods. You've seen me using the divining rods and things like that, and some of the old methods. You see me use ping pong balls and things like that. But I found if you have a lot of electronic stuff, it goes gunny back. I think that's part of the paranormal experience. We've all had issues where a battery drain, or this was working, all of a sudden it's not working. So I think any paranormal investigator needs to rely on the basics. The basics is just your 5 senses, and going with that, always be prepared for situations like that. So, but I do like to use a new thing. Ryan and I downloaded a few applications off the internet, and in one of our last investigations, we used some of that stuff, and most of that stuff you download from the internet is is crap. Yeah, but every now and again, you know, you'll find something good, but you download a lot of crap before you do find something that's good.
Okay. So, out of all your years of investigating, can you tell us one of your most favorite spots you've been to?
Well, my most favorite spot is Candy Cane Park in LeGrand. And the reason behind that was the site of the murder of Dana DeMars back in 1983. My connection to that was that I was one of the last people to see her alive. That Friday in February 1983, I was at a tavern called My Wife's Place at that time, and she was a waitress there. And I was, back then, I drank a lot back then, I played a lot of pool, and I was playing pool with this one guy, his name was Tony Cochran. And he introduced me that night to his brother, Bart Cochran, and played a couple games of pool together, and at closing time, we left, and there was a couple arguments that night, but taverns at closing time, you tend to get a lot of arguments and fights and things like that, especially in northeastern Oregon. It's kind of a rough place. But Dana DeMars, after closing, walked home and walked to Candy Cane Park and was killed. She was hit with a hatchet, I think 6, 7 times in the back of the head with a hatchet. And they arrested Bart Cochran for the murder. And so being one of the last people to see her alive, every time I go to Candy Cane Park, we have just phenomenal experiences. When I go there, we get good EVPs and cold spots, and it's just really a good spot. And I think it's just because of that personal experience. I don't want to comment a lot about the investigation. Bart Cochran did appeal his conviction, and to this day I have no idea whether he's guilty or not, and I have really no comment on that. But I'm just very close to a murder, and one of the last ones to see that victim live, and to this day people see visions of a lady sitting at a park bench here at Candy Cane Park. And we've actually found 2 spirits here. I think the spirit of Dana DeMars, but we keep finding a young girl there, and when you read about Candy Cane Park, it's also called Hatchet Park, but the official name is Candy Cane Park. But the merry-go-round used to go around by itself, and they've since then taken out the merry-go-round, and the swings would swing by themselves, and we debunked some of that because the wind would blow the swings, and so we debunked some of that, but we keep getting EVPs and responses of a young girl there. So it is odd that the park is just catty-corner to the cemetery, the LeGrand Cemetery, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. But that's one of my, it doesn't look spooky at all. It's just a normal park. It's got a playground on one end and a basketball court on the other. It doesn't look imposing or spooky or anything, but it's just you drive by it a million times, yeah, it's a park, so there's nothing strange about it, but I do have good experiences, every time I go there.
I know myself, I've never been there, and now that we discussed that we are doing an Eastern Oregon trip this summer, so I'm hoping that we can stop by there and you can show us around.
Yeah.
A new place for me.
Oh, I've never been there. I remember when we were going to go to Idaho, when we did go to Idaho, and we were looking at places along the way because we wanted to make road stops, that was actually one of the places I had looked up, Candy Cane Park. And because I remember writing down, and I actually found the paper not long ago, I don't have it anymore, but I had written down Dana DeMars and all that. So yeah, it'd be a really cool place to go, absolutely.
And I'll tell you that, I've been fortunate in my other business. I got to travel quite a bit, and before we did this interview, I started thinking about some of the, what's the most paranormal places you've been to, you know, yeah, I've said before that these places where something has happened, some kind of devastating event happened, somebody was killed. Gettysburg is a prime example, you know, of a place that's very haunted because thousands and thousands of people have died there. And some of my trips, I think I mentioned like Pompeii. I've been to Pompeii and in Italy, and gosh, I want to go back and do an investigation there. But you can't even get in there at night. You know, they call it down to tourists, but that place feels, it just has a feel to it. And when you see casts of people where they died and things like that, it just has quite I want to say a heavy feel, but you just know there's just a lot, you know, a lot going on there. I know another place would be Chichen Itza in southern Mexico. You know, the Mayan or Aztec, I think it's a Mayan, you know, temple there in ruins, and there's this ball field where the players would play games, and the winners, not the losers, but the winners would get beheaded. so that was kind of a interesting place, and back then you could crawl around and into the, you know, little cubby holes and things like that. And it's, I think that feels, we're there for the spring equinox, and got to saw the kind of the dragon go down at the spring equinox. The sun hits the pyramid in a certain way, and you see a shadow of a dragon come down the pyramid, and we're able to, you know, witness that. So that was kind of neat. I mentioned too, I've been to Transylvania, and that was kind of a disappointment. Is, you know, went to Transylvania, and you know, it was really a strict communist regime until what, 1993, I think it was, so all of a sudden communism fell, and all these tourists started coming. Everybody had read Bram Stoker's Dracula, goes to Transylvania asking where's Dracula's castle's at, and you know, Romanians, they haven't read the book. You know, books wasn't even allowed in Romania, you know, and they'd go, well, that, you know, they point to Bran Castle, and where the well, princess lived there for a long time, but Romania is a very superstitious country. When we were there, the parliament wanted to tax fortune telling, and the gypsies were kind of upset over that, and they basically said, you know, well, if you tax us, we'll put a curse on you. So Parliament voted not to tax the gypsies. So it's a neat. And like I said, I've you know, traveled around quite a bit, and every time I go, I always kind of bring my you know, with ghost hunting or paranormal investigation, you just bring a, you know, digital camera and recorder. You know that's your kind of your two basic tools that you have, and maybe a K2, and all that fits real nice in a carry-on. You know, so whenever I go someplace, I always kind of have my portable kit with me. And my wife is always upset. She says every time we go someplace, I'm on the internet looking. You know, I'm gonna do a haunted investigation someplace on this trip. You know, yeah, I have a lot of fun doing that, and I've got a couple left to do. I'm gonna have fun doing, I think.
Yeah, you told us about one of your places coming up, and we're actually gonna send a camera with you.
Yeah, well, Northern Ireland. You know, we're gonna be going to Northern Ireland in the summertime, and I haven't did any investigation where I want to go yet, but it's going to be in the Belfast area, and so I'm sure there's, you know, a lot of castles there.
Well, you know, they have the IRA and all those, you know, murders and wars and things. So I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that's in you know, around the Belfast area. So I'm anxious to send a camera with you and see what you pick up.
And what I'd like to do, and we've talked about this, is, you know, that I'm retired now, and, you know, have an RV, and, you know, just go on a couple of road trips. We've talked about, you know, going to Nevada and hitting some sites that you know about around Virginia City and Area 51. I've always wanted to hit that area. So
you want to talk about bucket list? That's on my bucket list.
And like I've been researching the heck out of it now, and I told Ryan on our way over here to Lebanon that I got 10 places for us in Nevada that we're gonna go down. From places that I actually stood, parked my car, but didn't know anything about this parking area.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then I researched it and found out that this parking area that we park at, there's been a hotel there that's burned down 3 times. The only single room to be standing today that they use for like an equipment room in this parking lot was actually called the suicide room in these hotels. All 3 hotels, it's just burnt down. It's this one room that's never burnt. And I've researched and found it. It said numerous suicides inside this room. From suicides to murders to rapes. And this room still stands today inside this parking lot.
Wow.
That I didn't know anything, and I parked here every time I went to Virginia City. I parked in this parking lot, never did know anything about it.
I remember when we parked there the time I went with you, and yeah, didn't know nothing. We just thought it was one of those little, like when you go to Portland, those little pay to park.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure it's probably not a bedroom anymore, but
No, they said that it's like an equipment room. They keep wheelbarrow shovels, all that stuff in there.
still.
But when you go to a lot of these places, a lot of times it's disappointing. Is that you hear about this place, it's really paranormal, a lot of things. Like I mentioned the Pendleton Underground. It's really hot, and we go there, nothing. And then at the end of the investigation, one of the employees of the underground says, "Well, there's a bordello upstairs, in this building. You want to go to the bordello and do this?" And, "Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely," and just found all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure Donnie can attest to, where it's not expected is when you find a lot of things. You just don't expect it. The place you expect to see it, you don't see it, and on the way or someplace else, you just see all kinds of stuff.
Well, I almost don't wonder if, especially some of these places that are really well known for being paranormal, it is almost like it's played out, like they're almost tired or don't want to, because there's been times where we've gone somewhere and not gotten anything, then gone back another time, gotten something, and then, you can go to the place so many times, and not every time you're going to get something.
Or too, you got high expectations.
Yes.
Is that, you're expecting to see it. And
Well, that's like that one place we went to in Nevada that was supposed to be, it's super haunted. All the shows, every show's been there. I mean, we paid money to go in there, good money, and we literally didn't get a single piece of evidence. There was nothing that happened.
And that's when, for me, back in time frame you're talking about, that's when I was expecting. I've been doing this for almost 15 years now, or IPO for 13 years. So 15 years of paranormal investigator, and it's like probably 5 years I was expect something when I went someplace. And now I'm just changed. It's like I go in a place and I'm not expecting nothing. Whatever. I'm here to see if the place haunted or to debunk it. And it's like when you're not expecting it, when you start getting the stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's more exciting not to go expecting to actually find something. I don't know how it is for you. I don't know if you're still expecting every time you go out.
No, not anymore. And after all the time, like I said, we've been so many places and gotten let down before that now it's just like, I go just to do it, and if there's something there, hey, cool. If not, well, on to the next. There's always the next place.
Yeah, I think TV's glamorized it a lot. 90% of a paranormal investigation is pretty boring. You're just sitting there being quiet and listening, and that's 90% of it, and you can spend hours in a location and pick up maybe 3 minutes of something, so. But you get on these shows on TV, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of these shows on TV. They're just things going on all the time in real life. That's just not the case.
Okay.
Well, and the other thing is, on the flip side, is they're probably there for a week, and they've all that evidence that they've got compiled into an hour happened over 7 days worth of time. They just take that like you said, 3 or 4 minutes worth of stuff, and extend it out and make it seem like it all happened in,
Cut and paste and
one night.
Make it look good, yeah.
I mean, Lord knows we've been on investigations where it's been a complete bust. And then we have had investigations though, like just that most recent one where we were getting quite a bit of stuff, you know. Like the flashlights were going off on command all the time. You were hearing the noises upstairs.
Yeah, and I wasn't really expecting anything. I even told Don, I said, that's it. You know, it's a grain mill. I mean, what are you gonna, we couldn't find anybody that actually died there yet. And you think, that can't be much there, and yeah, we were surprised.
I know that we do got some neat stuff coming up for 2017. Road trips are gonna be going on, investigating together. I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, me too, most definitely. It'll be fun, that's for sure.
Now you've got a couple locations already, you said.
Yeah, I myself have been researching like crazy since our last group meeting that we talked about doing this trip at the end of March. Yeah, I got a couple really cool spots. One's a whole mine shaft we're going to be going into that miners actually died at the end of the tunnel. Naturally, this mine shaft's been on TV, but I don't look at it as being on TV because I myself have already investigated this mine shaft. And I'll tell you, my first investigation by myself and with my ex-investigator Dan, we went inside this mine and pitch dark. We had them shut everything off, lock us inside of it. We went in about, I think it's 2,000 feet inside this mine, pitch dark. I told my investigator that I wanted to sit down to do some UPs and do some recording. And not having any light, the place I sat was actually the ladder that went down, where a guy fell off this ladder and died. And I started getting these weird feelings, like, man, you know, it felt like you got a headache. I'm like, why am I getting a headache? I never get headaches. And you just felt like you started aching in your bones and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I told Dan, I said, hey, let's get a flashlight and see where we're at. And we turned on our bright flashlight and looked behind me, and the place I sat was dead center of this ladder that went down, where this guy fell off, where he broke bones. He had head injuries, which explained the headaches, the aching of the bones, which explained to me that this dude fell. He broke bones when he fell off this ladder. And everything I was feeling, I had no clue that this ladder was behind me inside this mine shaft. I mean, we got EVPs of voices inside here. It sounded like they were still working this mine. You hear like pickaxes hitting the rocks. It was creepy. But I'm telling you, it's going to be an experience for you guys if you've never been inside this place.
Well, I know we tried going in last time we went there when I went with you, and we couldn't because the weather was still non-permissible. So
yeah, the weather is bad, and then the mine
It's still
was
March, we still get some dicey weather.
Yeah, and the bad thing about when me and Ryan went down is that this mine shaft was actually up for sale.
yeah.
The realty would not let anybody inside of it. But recently, there's a husband and wife that just bought it. I got their numbers, their emails, so I'm actually making a phone call saying, hey, we're going to be down here at the end of March. Are we allowed to go inside? Which they said they're open to investigations inside this place. So I got that coming up. One thing I know that we've talked about in meetings and stuff is that cemeteries, you don't really like doing them.
Yeah, like I said, you know, once somebody is planted, they've been dead for 3 to 5 days, and it's just that I don't think you're gonna find much there, but they're still popular, and we've talked about them, but it's just not, the cemetery's never been really high on my list of paranormal,
Okay. Well, not to let you down.
But you found a good one.
That's what I was getting at is, I actually researched and went over a cemetery that all we gotta do is go down to the police station, they'll give us a key to it, we can go in after dark. Now the happenings of the cemetery is there's a little girl that patrols the cemeteries. They actually got footage of a Nevada paranormal team that's went in there. on their camcorders, they got pictures of a little girl. You see her bouncing around different headstones. Now for me, Ryan knows, and I think you're starting to know, I don't believe in orbs. I don't care if they're solid, I don't care if they're see-through, I don't believe in orbs. Because for me, it's either it's dust, a bug, or something else. But these people are saying, oh, there's all kinds of orbs. There's these blue orbs flying around. Well, it depends on what kind of season we're in. If it's a bug and they're flying fast, naturally on your camera, it's going to pick up some kind of different kind of color for this bug. So for me, I'm not out looking for orbs.
Even the moisture in the air, like, because you gotta remember, Virginia City is way up in the mountains up there, you know, like it's high in elevation. So even if there's any kind of moisture in the air, and the flash from the camera at night reflects off that moisture, it'll look like, you know, something too.
I think the orb's gotta wow all of us, for us to say this.
Now, if it has a tail and a big old face in it or something like that,
it's gonna have to wow us, yeah.
Now, this Nevada team, I've been looking at their webpage. I'm friends with them on Facebook. We've been friends for a while. For their videos I've watched that they posted, to actually see a black mass shadow inside the cemetery moving, that has my wow up. That stuff I'm looking for is like shadows or the actual spirits that you can make out that there are spirits there.
Well, and is this a cemetery that we went to when I went with you? That's actually like 5 or 6 cemeteries in one?
Yep.
Oh, God. Yeah. Even when we were there, and we were there in the daytime, we were getting weird, funky feelings, and it's something about this cemetery, just, I don't know.
Especially daytime now. Now, if we back up and listen to some of the UPs we take. Okay, me and Ryan didn't physically see no kids. There was no playground.
There wasn't anybody within a mile of us.
There was nobody from a mile of us, but on EDPs you got kids laughing. You can hear like metal clanking like they're playing like that tetherball game.
There was no poles, no wind chimes.
Now to get this stuff on EVPs where there's actually kids out in a cemetery playing, and we go to investigate, look around, make sure there was no parks, and there's nothing.
No. It's mountainside for about a mile all the way around.
Now to me that's unexplained.
Oh yeah.
That makes me want to go back.
Oh, absolutely. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And so
I look forward to seeing.
It's massive. It's, like I said, it's 5 or 6. I mean, you got like a Masonic cemetery, you've got your regular cemetery, you've got your Catholic cemetery. I think there was even like a Jewish cemetery. I mean, they're all one huge, massive fence, but then they're all inner fence too, though. They're like, I mean, it's just basically one massive cemetery with different sections, but those sections are big enough that they're their own cemetery too, though.
I mean, yeah, it's a cemetery, but for me, the best part of the cemetery was the actual miner cemetery.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because Virginia City, if you actually research it, take time to research it, what's underneath Virginia City? There ain't nothing except for mining stuff. There's tunnels underneath that town that goes for miles that they mined. And these miners that died, you know, they brought them out of the mines and they got their own cemetery plots.
Yep.
And for me, I mean, I like miners, so I love going out mining. I do prospecting, Ryan knows that. I do metal detecting, gold panning, I do all the mining stuff. And I have friends that are miners. I knew miners that died inside mines. And so that's what I look for, is I like doing the mining stuff, like that, going into the mine shafts and trying to get to know the miners that work there. And if you actually Google it, there's been tons and tons of miners that died. But
well,
like,
especially back in the late 1800s.
Yeah, and like I said, so now when we go to Nevada, we got this parking lot I knew nothing about. I didn't know that there was a hotel there. 3 hotels there at one time that burnt down. That's unexplained. Why do these hotels burn down in just this section? So we got the motel, we got the mine shaft, we got the cemetery, but that's not it.
Yeah, because I've been looking at places, and I know for a fact that we can get back into the Washoe Club, where the Billionaire Boys Club's been on a lot of the different TV shows and things. I have to pay to get in there, but they let people in there Now, I'd probably have to call and book it in advance, but we can get in there. I'm still working on the Gold Hill Hotel, which has also been on TV because of the miner's cabin, which is in front of the Yellow Jacket mine, different mine that he's talking about. That there was, I think there was some sort of explosion or something like that that killed a whole bunch of miners right there. Where that miner's cabin, like right feet from the miner's cabin, and that miner's cabin is supposedly super, haunted. So that's something, we're gonna check out. And actually, I'm even trying to get it to where we can actually rent that miner's cabin for a night or two and stay there. It's actually really cheap. I think we looked at it was only like $130 for the miner's cabin, and that's for a maximum of like 6 people.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like $135 per person. It's just $135, and I mean it's a full-on cabin. I mean it's got, I think it's like 4 beds, 5 beds, plus a full kitchen and bathroom. I mean it's, so.
Yeah, so that Yellow Jacket mine, that was a million dollar gold mine. One night the miners did go inside of it, and they were down inside of it, and the Yellow Jacket mine did explode. It killed, I think it was 35 or 38 miners that were mining it. They all died, and other paranormal teams actually investigated there, and they got miners talking to them. Naturally, TV shows have been there, and they supposedly Hollywood stuff picked up there. But yeah, it's actually a good location for us to go and investigate this mine. Now that's just part of our Nevada trip.
Yeah, that's not even counting the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be that far south, gotta go to Area 51.
Absolutely.
I mean, and if we're there, we've gotta stop by and bring our binoculars,
So from Virginia City, me and Ryan's been talking, and I hasn't talked to you about it, but we've researched the Reno area for a couple things there that we can investigate, which I've only found one thing. It's a canyon where today there's still murders happening inside this canyon. The canyon's haunted by different kind of spirits. For us just starting to work together, I haven't really got your experience level on how far you want to take into paranormal. But for this canyon area, it's documented that it is demonic. There's demonic stuff happens there. Which, for me, for doing it 15 years, demonic excites me because I look for the stuff. For Ryan, he's different. He tries to stay away from the demonic stuff. But the canyon, you got your demonic, you got your witchcraft, your murders, your suicides, and I could just keep going up the ladder for this canyon.
Crazy.
That's just something that if we decide we want to stop by there for whatever.
But that's really the only thing we really found in Reno.
Yeah.
So we were almost thinking about just skipping Reno altogether and going straight
down there.
Area 51.
Depends if we need a break. Yeah.
Reno, yeah, you got your casinos that are haunted, but it's too hard to investigate a casino because they're open 24 hours.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's unless you're investigating like one of their hotel rooms, but even then, I mean, I was just at a casino this last weekend, and it's people at 3 a.m. walking up to rooms making noise. I mean, it's especially in Reno or Vegas.
Yeah, there's always something going on. So.
Okay, so yeah, Reno's something that we talk about whenever time gets here, but Virginia City, we got that covered. Virginia City, from there, we can go to Goldfield, Nevada, which is a Goldfield Inn. I'm trying to find a guy that owns a Goldfield Inn so I can make contact with him to see if we can get inside that. And the school in Goldfield. From Goldfield, there's another little town, I can't remember what the name of it is, but there's the Clown Hotel that's haunted.
The Clown Hotel, huh?
Oh, yeah. Google Clown Hotel.
Oh, yeah?
It's
Clown Motel.
What is it?
Clown Motel.
You actually Google that, and it's going to pop up to the 11 most haunted areas in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And the Clown Motel, I believe it was on number 2 or 3.
Okay.
But Ryan also told me about, in the same town, a different hotel that's supposed to be more haunted than the Clown Hotel, or motel. But this Clown Motel, there's a cemetery that lays right next to it.
Yeah, it's been on Ghost Adventures.
So it sounds like we're gonna have our plate full.
Yeah, so-
I mean, I think we're actually gonna have more places than we'd even be able to investigate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I don't know if we're gonna be, we're probably gonna be gone a week, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think we were planning on 7 days, and you gotta figure probably about 2 days, maybe even 3, just in traveling.
Yeah, no, but
So,
But I think like the grand finale of this Nevada trip we're planning on going on,
hello.
I think the grand finale should be Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
How close to that fence, that borderline, can we
before
get?
the
with
men
that?
in black come and get us.
Now, for me, I want to
Well,
press my luck.
as long as we stay on the other side of the fence, we're fine.
For me, I'm going to press. I want to see how close to that warning sign I can get before that van shows or truck shows up. What about you guys?
Yeah, hey, as long as I'm on the right side of the fence, I'm good.
I'll be filming.
Right to be in the car.
Yeah.
No, I'll get up and walk around that fence.
Because our lawyers will probably want that film, so when, no.
Be like, they were technically on this side of the line. Now, granted, their toes were like technically on the line, but they were still not over the other part of the line.
Now, the more I research about the Area 51, is the more I find out that base is actually closed.
Yeah,
Because-
I kind of got that feeling, you know, I think they've moved, I think there's still a presence, a military presence there, but I think a lot of the experimental stuff may have been moved somewhere.
Okay, see, what I found is that everything's gone from that base.
Oh, yeah,
Because I found a brand new, are you guys ready?
Area 52.
Area 52,
oh, yeah.
which is down in Utah.
We talked about Utah, the Skidwalker Ranch and things like that, and
Yeah.
and old, of course, you know the name Bigelow from the hotel billionaire, and he owns a bunch of land there that I think is leased to the government. So
And so I heard about that Area 52. Another thing that I just was watching last night, it was actually on Finding Bigfoot. So the brand new episode last night I watched was the Four Corners. Have you guys heard about the Four Corners? Now, I actually went researching the Four Corners. I found out about all kinds of Bigfoot sightings, all kinds of alien sightings, UFO sightings. Now, spirit sightings there too. I'm talking like ghosts and stuff. So this Four Corners is actually a really active area for all kinds of different kind of paranormal.
well, that part, the whole part of the country has always been active with UFOs, and of course you look at I've researched the Ute Indians of that area, you know, and skinwalkers or skin changers, ship shakers. There's a lot of legends in that area, Indian legends, you know. So yeah, it's probably an interesting area.
So now from Goldfield, there's actually a 2-hour drive, which would be an exciting place to go. There's still part of this area that has a stove in it. Now, do you guys remember Charles Manson? The Manson's Ranch? It's 2 hours from Goldfield. Which right now is on the haunted, different haunted sites.
Yeah.
It's where Charlie had his actual compound, and his followers where they lived is right 2 hours from Goldfield. And the only thing that lies on his ranch is his stove that he baked on and cooked on. Now, there's all sorts of different kind of paranormal activity that I read about there. Which I'm not going to say it's haunted. The only way if we find out it's haunted is to actually go
Go
there.
there and find out.
Find out for ourselves, is this place haunted or not?
Yeah, it sounds like we're just gonna sit down and figure out, okay, what top 5 places we're gonna go, or, you know.
Yeah, because we still have to figure out the logistics of driving, how long that's going to take each day. I mean, because like I said, by the time push comes to shove, we'll probably actually only have about 4 days to actually.
And, yeah, we might have to take 2 trips. You know, do one now and one later. We'll look at it, you know. And, you know, I'm still thinking about the Eastern Oregon trip. We're trying to line up. I don't want to mention sites yet until we, you know, there's some good sites there, but I don't want to mention names and put it on TV and knowing that we can't
Yeah.
get out there. But so that's when the weather gets warmer, we're gonna hit some Eastern Oregon sites. And
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
again, you know that the mine there in the Sumter area,
Yeah.
you know, so we got some mining activity there we can look at, so.
And I got a friend on Facebook, and I actually got to hang out with him on my birthday party and stuff, but I'll go ahead and say his name. His name's Jay from Ghost Mines. He actually took time to come to my birthday party in Portland, and he's someone that whenever we do the Eastern Oregon thing, I can make contact with him, hey, you know, because he has his own paranormal team he's on now. And maybe he, you know, Para-Unity, where Para-Unity means that it's all paranormal teams coming in and they represent one thing, because we're all looking for the same thing. Does paranormal exist? So I can make contact with Jay and say, hey Jay, we're going to Eastern Oregon. Can you give us
A little time.
a little time to pick your brain and see where we should go over there? Place that you've been that we might not know about.
Or maybe if he has a contact he can get in touch with,
Yeah.
and, you know.
Yeah, I think it's all about contacts, you know.
But no, that'd be absolutely cool. And knowing Jay, I mean, I would think he would, I mean, I don't know him very well, but I mean, just the time you gotta spend with him at your birthday party, I would say he'd be down. I mean, he was a very friendly guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he messaged me back right away on Facebook and like I said, took the time to come down.
Yeah, we get a hold of him, pick his brain, and see. Maybe he can give us a couple of spots that we don't know about. But now back to Leo, you know. I don't know. Trying to think of another question to ask you.
Well, I mentioned my paranormal experiences.
Yeah.
And speaking of Eastern Oregon, that I think one of my, I haven't had that many paranormal experiences. You know, we all have strange things, but you know, this one that really sticks out that I remember probably in high school. It was in Somerville. That's a little town in Eastern Oregon, and we're being teenagers, you sleep outside. You know, that was a big thing. And get your sleeping bags and sleep outside. Yeah, we were sleeping outside. Somerville's a small town, maybe 60 people, and we're just walking down this road, and there's this old tree, and saw a guy hanging from the tree. I mean, feet off the ground, rope around his neck, hanging from the tree. And both of us, my friend and I, both saw it. At this point, like, what the hell is that? And we both saw it, and now that tree's gone. I was there just, you know, last summer, and the tree's been cut down. You know, I think, where's that tree at? And that was probably my first, you know, I want to say a ghost sighting, but I would say my first ghost sighting was you know, was in Somerville, Oregon. And I've researched saying it was there hanging in Somerville, and I couldn't find anything through my research of a hanging in Somerville. But well, that was probably my first one. The most pronounced, meaningful one was at Stonehenge, where and this was you know, several years ago. I was in England and went to Stonehenge on it was a tour bus. You know, there was a bunch of tourists on a tour bus. We stopped in Stonehenge, and what happened? I was at if you ever look at Stonehenge, I was at the heel stone at Stonehenge, and it's hard to explain. Something happened, and it was like I wasn't there anymore. I wasn't on this plane. I don't know how to explain. I was just kind of taken to even though I was still there, but I wasn't on the same plane as everybody else. And I could see things before they happened. You know, I would say, here's this this child's going to walk through here any minute now. You know, he's got on a red jacket, he's got on a blue jacket. There they are. You know, I would just would see things before they happened, and it was at just kind of another level, and basically I'd zoned out, and they had to come get me. The bus was leaving, And I would just kind of stand there just doing one of these things, and they, you know, they basically had to come get me. And what was neat was afterwards, it just like I got a psychic jolt. And now today, and my dreams for like the next 6 months were just vivid. And today, I could explain it in HD. Back then, I didn't know what but my dreams were in full color HD, and it just like I just got jolted, and it lasted for like 6 months. Just every night for 6 months, I'd have these just vivid, full color dreams in HD, and for 6 months afterward, then the thing kind of wore out. And an interesting thing was of that day, there was also crop circles in that area, that same day. So we were coming back in the bus, they're saying, look, there's news truck out there, you saw the crop circles, they're out there, you know, with the crop circles. So that very day you had crop circles in the area too. So, and you know, since then I just trying to invest what is this, what caused this, and I got into ley lines and things like that in that area. But to this day, something I just can't explain, but it just had a pronounced effect on my life, is that the trip to Stonehenge, you know. So
Stonehenge, this might sound kind of funny, but is that where the European Vacation was filmed with Chevy Chase, or he backed into the stone?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the place.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was the right place because.
Yeah, it looks like dominoes standing up, and it's got the little pieces on top. Yeah, it's a crazy place.
Well, as long as Chevy Chase didn't knock them over, they're still standing there.
They're still
standing.
standing. They're still standing.
They don't let you. Vandals have just kept hitting the place. They don't let you into the stones themselves anymore. They've got, you know,
Oh, they don't?
No, they just got it roped off. You can step over the rope and go over there, but it's not like a lot of places. Vandals just kind of ruin it for everybody else.
But it's not just like an open field that you can drive up to and walk.
Yeah. So, but they're still finding a lot of things there. They're kind of, they've reopened the park. They've changed because it's actually close to the freeway, and they've changed the parking and things like that. I mean, you can still go up to the heel stone, or it's called the blue stone. There's blue stones out there, but the heel stone's a big blue stone. But as far as going in the Stonehenge itself and walking through there, is not allowed anymore. So, but I think a lot of places are like that. Chichen Itza now, you can't climb on the pyramid. You know, so a lot of places that just vandals have ruined it for everybody else. But that was, like I said, that was paranormal. You know. So.
That sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah. This is a fun trip to go on.
So back to the Eastern Oregon talk now. I'll go ahead and bring up one place that I'm kind of interested in going to is Hell's Canyon. Hell's Canyon was the Chinese miners that worked there that 6 drunk cowboys came in and robbed them, looted them, beat them, killed them. I think that would be an interesting area to go to.
Yeah.
Now that's actually down the river of Hell's Canyon Dam.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to take a jet boat or a raft. I don't think you can drive. I'm not
No,
sure. I think you have to take a boat to get there.
Yeah, they got these boat tour things that we found that I think it's like $25 a person to go across. And then there's a memorial thing set up for the Chinese people that were murdered. But lots of activity.
Yeah.
And I know as kids, yeah, we used to fish every summer we fished. The Oxbow, Richmond around halfway, but halfway Oxbow, Hell's Canyon. We spent every summer there fishing, and I got a lot of little UFO stories from that area. But I said before, Mountain Home Air Force Base is, as far as the crow flies, it isn't really that far, and fighter pilots get a little squirrely when they know they're in a desert and there's not many people around. You'll see a few low-flying jets go by, you know, but unofficially. But I think there's probably a lot of things that happen at Mountain Home Air Force Base that's probably classified, but that is, that area in itself is a hot spot for UFOs.
That'd be fun to go to.
Yeah, I can't wait for all the things that we've got coming and all of our road trips and I mean just everything. I mean it's gonna be.
I think in this next 12 months we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, right. Well, especially with this guy over here and his lofty ambition goals for our episodes this year. We did what 17 last year, and he wants to at least double that. I'm like, buddy, there's only 52 weeks in a year.
Told you, my goal is 32 episodes for 2017.
I thought you expanded it again. 32 weeks.
32 years.
No, like I said, I mean, I just can't wait. I mean, it's going to be fun, and I just.
We'll get a half dozen just on the Nevada trip.
Oh, easy.
So,
Since we're on the subject, now Leo's did two, I call them major investigations with us since he's joined us. Let's talk a little bit about these two investigations that we did with Leo.
Horrible.
They
were horrible.
Get his insight on it, what he thought about them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which now I can go ahead and say the name of the place that we've been because I got the okay from the owners for doing it. The first one's the old Hotel Lebanon. You joined us on that investigation. What did you think about it?
the first we've done two here, and after the first one, I was nothing really, jumped out. Of course, we had the perfume, the perfume smelling hallway was kind of neat, but again, it was just getting back to that. You got to have three things for me to get excited about three.
Yeah.
And that really that first time around didn't get a lot, but the second time around, we've got the unexplained noise. We had some good, I call it the mag light session.
Yep. We
had a good session there. Yep. You saw a dark mass.
Yeah.
We just had several things go on that night, and it's kind of changed my mind. I still haven't, in my mind, was it a residual haunting or intelligent? The first one, I would say residual, but the second one, with the responses to the Maglite experiment, kind of screams intelligent. But I don't know, what do you think?
Well, mine and your first time, Ryan didn't join us on the first round, but yeah, the first time we went up there, you got that perfume smell, or I called it like maybe flower smell. Seeing that shadow the first time, come back second time seeing that same shadow, but then all of a sudden that female shadow, the tall, slender, woman-looking shadow that, in my eyes, it looked like it actually scared the bigger shadow because I seen him dart down the hallway, and that's the last I seen him that night. But that female that was there, she was trying to come interact with us when he was asking questions on the flashlight. And she started answering, but yet she was still being shy.
Yeah, I thought it being shy. I caught from it,
Yeah, that weird noise that we get to that room 128, and we're standing in the hallway hearing it go off, then we get inside room 128 and stops, fades away. Grab their ladder and sent you up the ladder to go check, see what's up in that burnt area.
Yeah, just nothing up there,
Nothing that can make
that kind of noise, yeah.
To me, that's unexplained. The shadows were unexplained. I don't know. It's another one right where maybe if we did third time around in it, maybe we'll get more of who the shadows are. Our second major investigation we did was actually Scroggins Mill in Lebanon. Leo was on it with us.
Yep.
Give us your insight on that.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm always skeptic. So there's nothing going. It just, and I had experience at Thompson's Mill, and really didn't find anything at the Gist Mill, the Thompson Mill. I did one there, and didn't find anything. So he was one of these I didn't expect to find anything, and got some good experiences out of it, you know,
Absolutely.
so, got, you know, again, using the mag light experiment, we got some, good results from that. I used the divining rods, and I found, basically the hot spots with the divining rods was backed up by the stairway. You had a feeling or saw something by the stairway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the one was seen.
And so my divine rods kind of said that was a hot spot. Then basically where we did the maglite experiments, that was a hot spot. Then the cold rooms where the old train cars was another spot, you know. Yeah, so we had I was pleasantly surprised.
I was too. I
Yeah,
was
and
shocked.
going up there to the catwalk, you know, got up to the catwalk.
You were gone for that one.
And, you know, it's kind of a climb for an old guy like me, but I got up there, got on the catwalk, and just heard all kinds of noises and knockings and, you know, just things going on, and so that was a lot of fun. I had fun doing that one, because
It was actually.
I said something, I am not alone up here. There's something else up here with us, and it was fun.
It was fun watching Donnie's footage in the editing room last week when I was editing it. And all of a sudden, you're watching his camera, he's standing there just kind of talking and waiting for you. And it's like, well, where the heck is Leo? You can hear him. And all of a sudden, here comes your little head and flashlight and the little cubby hole up there with a ladder.
The Blair Witch Project.
Right. You just see the red light and the little head, like.
The thing was, yeah, maybe there's something strange with us, but we seem to have fun.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people would find frightening. We're having fun with it.
Hey, I love it.
I love it too.
It's just,
Some people go clubbing, we go paranormal ghost hunting.
but that's why I like doing it. Is people ask why. It's not, I'm going to prove anything. You're never going to prove anything.
Oh, there's always
You
gonna be, yeah.
But one is proving something to myself. I don't need to prove to you or listeners or anything else. Is that, you know, it's something I want to prove to myself. But at the same time, you know, I do it because it's fun.
Absolutely.